Hello and welcome to Wikipedia Weekly Network. Here, where Albin Larsson and I, Jan Ainali, are editing Wikidata Live. How are you doing, Albin?
I'm doing great. I have been a lot of time outdoor today doing gardening and such, so haven't touched Wikidata today. So now I have saved all of my Wikidata energy to this. How are you, Jan?
I've been in front of the computer all day instead. There was a climate editathon with IPCC reports and Wikidata, so not so much editing on Wikidata still, though. It was a lot of sessions. And hello, Nicola. But we're in the end of Wiki Loves Monuments. So we're going to have a little bit of theme with that. What in specific are you going to look at?
I'm gonna look at trying to figure out old items and find data issues on Wikidata, or if there are things that has been merged, maybe needs to be split, and just do maintenance queries around that type of thing.
Oh, very nice. It is a competition that even if it has a lot of contributions, they can be a little bit sloppy or hasty because people want to get them in and they have a lot of images, so they're just focusing on actually uploading. Yeah.
I'm one of those that have 200 images last week,
Yes.
and you just need to get them in there.
Yeah. I think that happens to all of us. And I'm going to take a little bit of look, also improving data, but using OpenRefine. We haven't been doing a lot of editing on the structured data on Commons with that yet. And it is quite new because it's just released in the version 3.6, which came this summer. And even a little bit later, it got added to PAWS, which I'm going to be using. So I think I'll go ahead and share my screen here so you can see. So this on Commons, there's a little bit of a help page, and you'll find it on Commons OpenRefine, or here's the short address to it. And there's how to install it and a little bit of tutorials on how to use it. And you can install it locally, but you can also run it on the PAWS that are on the Wikimedia servers. And we have been using that a couple of times, I think. And that's what I'm going to do today. So let's see if I can find it from here. You can always find it from hub.paws.wmcloud.org, but there's also this launch button here directly from the OpenRefine. So let's get going with that. Just see that I'll get in. And I think there's going to be a few things we need to do. It's going a little bit slow. There it starts spinning.
Yay.
And it was a while since I used it. I've been using OpenRefine locally. So when this came up again, it was, hey, this looks new. So there's a little bit of a new interface to PAWS since I showed it here last time. And I have to admit, I couldn't find OpenRefine first. But it is hidden, if you can call it hidden, under this plus button, which is the launcher. So if you press this blue thing, you get a little bit of the things. And of course, here we have OpenRefine. So I'm going to connect that first and see that we actually get it open before moving on. It seems to be coming along nicely. We see the logo, and here's the interface that we usually see when we start. And here, of course, we need something to work on. And my thought for today was that I saw this is from the 2021 edition of Wiki Loves Monuments. Someone made a lot of nice aerial photographs in Sweden.
Yeah.
But they're not really tagged as such with structured data yet. But they were in a nice category. So here you can go with it. We now have a whole suite of tools you can pick and choose from. You could go with the AC/DC tool we have shown here before. We have shown the SDC tool could also be used here, but I'm going to show it in OpenRefine, both as a use case for like how do you even use OpenRefine, and then I'm going to do a few other things in there that the other tools cannot. But for now, there's a little bit of a trick to get these into OpenRefine, but I'm using PetScan to find my way in here. So, and there are of course other ways you could do it as well, but I think this is one of the easier ways, and it's also one that is described on this page, or rather, in this tutorial page, it is described. So I'm sort of going to follow that along step by step, but not looking at it all the time. And the first thing then is to actually go to PetScan and get a list of the files that we want to use. We are working on, or was I gone a long time? Or did I just blink?
No, half a second.
All right. Like yeah, it blinked on my screen as well. Yeah. Yes. So we need to specify, and we have a shortcut button here to say we want to work on commons. And then we need to say which category, and this is the category. And then the hardest thing that that I almost always forget is that we need to go and say here, oh, I want to work on the file namespace, because of course the commons files that are interesting are not in the main namespace. And then a little bit unusual here, I just want a plain text result. So let's see if that's going to do it. It should be, let's check this category again, 79 files in here. So if everything works, it'll, well, now I go to the plain text output. I will just get a long list here, or not too long. Now this seems reasonable. So I'm going to Control A to mark everything, and then Control C to copy it, and head back into OpenRefine. And we have just a simple paste window here. We can just paste everything down here. And let's see, we have around 79. So let's see when going next if it counts that correctly. I see immediately the default values give me two sort of troubles. First, one of the files get into the heading here, and that's because the default is say, oh, well, we usually have headers, so I'll specify that to 0, and we'll get it there. But then here also, I don't really want to have a file separator between the file and the file name, because that is actually, so instead of using the custom colon here, I think that sort of auto-detected it and say, hey, you perhaps want to use that. I'm going to switch to something else. And here you have to be a little bit, because file names can have comma in them. So I guess safer bet is to go with tabs, because I don't think that the file names on commas can have tabs. I'm not sure, though.
Maybe I have been surprised many times.
Yes, we're very allowing for what the file names can include. But you can at least see it's only one column here. It didn't separate it. So this looks good. I thought you would get a sort of like a count here somewhere on how many it would be. I can't see it, though. But I think this is all right. So I'm just going to call this Arial and create a project out of this. And here, of course, I'm going to see how many rows I have. Yes, 79. So that's all right. The second part here is usually OpenRefine is set up to work on Wikidata, but not on commons. And to reconcile these towards commons, we need to say use commons. And we can do that under the select the Wikibase instance. And we can see that Wikidata is already set up by default, and we need to add Wikibase Wikibase here. But before I press that button, I'm actually going to see here, well, what do I need to do? So I'm going to select the Wikibase instance, click the add, and then it's going to ask me for something that is called a manifest. And it says you can just copy and paste it from here. So I'm actually going to open this in, I'm going to need one more, in a new window or a new tab. And here we see, oh, we don't really see it because it's very, very small here, but this is sort of the definition for it. We don't really need to worry about it. We're just going to, for now, copy and paste this. I imagine that this will perhaps become a little bit easier further on, but for now, this is how we need to do it. So I'll copy this. I'll go back to, I need to click on the right window here and add the Wikibase, and I can, well, I could just enter the URL there. Let's do that instead. That should be.
It's recommended.
Yes. It's recommended, it says here even. And yes, because if it's updated, it's actually going to be. So add it. And we see, yes, we got the logo here. So we know that it worked. And now I need to click this one as well to actually say I want to use it. So you see it's marked in blue here. And now it's just as easy as I can go here and I say, as usually when we do reconciling to Wikidata, we can start reconciling here. But instead of actually doing it on Wikidata here on the second time, again, I need to specify commons, and then I can just start. And it will go quite quickly, and we'll see I get a nice green. All 79 are matched. So now we know, and I think I can even hover here, and we see, yes, these ones are on Wikimedia Commons. So we know that these are the ones we're working on. So that's sort of like the first setup stage. Now we want to see what kind of edits I want to do. And one edit I want to do is to say that these are instances of aerial photography. That's something I want to add. So I'm going to need a new column here. And but first, I'm going to go to Wikidata to figure out what's the item for aerial photography. Very slow today. There we go. Oh, sorry, I did this in Swedish. I forgot to change. But here is the aerial shot. This is the one we want. There's also one for the activity aerial photography. So, but I guess that is aerial photography. In Swedish, the one is flygfotografering. So I had to be a little bit careful here when picking, but this is the item that I want. Now, perhaps you have a quick tip for me, Alvin, how to just add a new column, because I have found this a little bit hard. I do a very bulky workaround.
I
So if I want to just
even more bulky way.
All right, so I'll do it my way. So
yeah.
So the way I have been doing, I've been adding a column based on this.
That's why I do it.
Yeah. And then, of course, we can see the preview. I don't want to have this. So I'll do a replace value.
And then I can actually teach you a better way.
All right.
I think you can just write double quotes twice there. And you will get an empty string.
This. Oh, well, that's quicker. Yes.
Yeah. That's how I do it.
Yes. I have replaced the value with this, and then yeah, but this is even quicker. But still, it feels a little bit hacky. Like I would just add a new column and write in it. But that's there's not really like add a column. But this is what I
No.
want. You must
You
enter a
need a
column
name.
name. All right, so I'll call this instance of. And will make it easier for me when I come to the schema to remember where I want to put it. All right, so now I know there's the instance of. But I also want to polish a little bit. Sometimes when you open a file page, you can see, oh, there's an extra space here, or there should be an extra line break. And I'm going to do a few of those edits. And now you think, how can I edit the wiki text from OpenRefine? Well, it's not really that hard. And I'm not sure we have shown this a lot of times, but we have this under the edit column, very close to where I was just based on this column. We also had the add columns from Reconciled Values, which is sort of what OpenRefine call is this is what I know about the item that you just reconciled against. So this is getting data from the other place we reconciled to or from. So I'll click this, and you see these are properties that OpenRefine can see are being used on one or more items on, in this case, Wikimedia Commons. May not use all of them, but collectively, these are the ones that are. And we see in the bottom the wiki text. So I'll click that one, and we see a little bit of preview. And this is exactly what I want. So let me grab that. It'll take some time to load it. And here we go. And now we see like, oh, this is exactly what we see when we click edit on Commons. And of course, now we have available to us the tools we can use, kind of like with replace or something like that. And that's what I'm going to do. And I got this idea when I just opened this first one. And I was annoyed. Like we see here, there's two blank lines just in between the categories. And I would like these to be just neatly together. So I'm going to do a few search and replace almost type operations, but not with search and replace. We used just a replace function in grel. So, and we find that here. So I'll click here again, and we do edit cells, and then a transform, which gives us this edit view that we have here. And we can see the value to the left and some previews, what's going to happen to the right. And a very common one that we can use is the replace, which asks for, well, what do you want to replace? And with what? So I'm not going to replace the entire value here. Instead, I'm going to replace something put in here with something put in here. Do I need to specify value first? I forgot. I did this earlier today. Let me have a quick check in my notes. I don't have my notes. I closed my notes to save some browser space. Right. Yes, I need to I can see in my history here. So it's going to be something on this form. And what I put in here is going to be the interesting part. And the nice thing here is that we can actually just mark things. So if I do like this and copy, and find those, and now it says with nothing, but I'm still going to want to have a line break in there. So let me see if I can replace this with that, but with one less. No, two less. That's how we want it to look. And I'm not sure if there were any others, but if there were, they will all. And I'm not sure if it's going to say how many it actually does. Let's see. Yes, 36 cells were updated. So now that looks a little bit nicer here. Nice. I'm a little bit picky with my wiki text. I'm not sure if everyone else is, but I don't like when the templates are just next to here. I want a blank line in between these. This is tiny wiki text pedantry, perhaps, but while I'm in here, I can do it. And of course, this is mostly to get you to get ideas of, oh, I can manipulate the wiki text here. I do a few things, but you can think of, perhaps you can add, do something with the, like find the BBR something and this code and do something with that, look up or transform, or perhaps you want to do something based on the date. That's what you could probably find. But here I'm going to do another simple one here. So I'm going to go with the edit transform. I'm going to go to history, which is a super nice tab. And first just reuse that to get it to show up. And then I'm going to change it to this is what it was. And I want it to be like that, but with an extra space. And let's see if my preview looks better. Yes, so now we can see this is what it was before. There, and after I'm going to get this nice. So I'll just press OK on here as well. Also update on 36. And I wonder if there's something else I want to do or if I'm happy with this. Oh, here must have been 3 blank lines because there's still one. So I'm going to do another go on that. So edit cells, transform. Look at my history. Take this one again, reuse. Remove one there. And see, do I see? Yes, now we got them. All right. See how many that was. 10 more. Beautiful. Now we get all the wiki text to be harmonized, which also is good for someone if someone is using another tool to sort of see, like, we have the categories here, we have the templates here, and so on. All right, I'm happy with this. But there's one thing I still need to do, because this is right now just text, and that won't do. So we have to reconcile these as well. So I'll start here and I'll go to the reconcile. But here I actually want to use the values as identifiers because they're just a Q number. So I'll press this one and then get a drop down. Now I'm not going from Wikimedia Commons. Here I'll actually on Wikidata again because they're Q items. And this should be lightning fast. It should just say, this is the item. And I can hover here and just see I got the right one. Yes. All right. So that is my edits. Let's check my issue here. I don't have a schema yet. So let's head to my schema and do a schema. And when we edit towards Wikimedia Commons, we have this add media instead of add item. Very nice touch. The column one was the actual file, so we're going to put that one in there. I'm not going to change the caption and statements now, but I'm going to add a statement here. And I want the instance of. And here I want the instance of, but now I don't see the The wiki text. You're currently working on? Shouldn't I see something where I can drop the wiki text here?
I think you should. If you go back to the project screen just for a while, there
There.
should be like the version number of Wikimapfine at the end of the column. Yeah, the side column here with the facet and filters. You can't see that either.
No. Let's check here. Edit Wikibase. You're currently working against. This is odd.
Let's see.
It's not under the add captions, no.
You don't have. Yeah, I think it's just during upload currently. Could that be it?
That it will come in next step?
No, it's
Or-
only when you upload files to Wikimedia Commons rather than just editing. If
Maybe I was.
on like the first version, that
Yes.
I think it's currently on the master branch.
I was
editing.
I was doing my testing today locally, and then I thought I was gonna do it.
I think that might be it.
Yes. So the wiki text is not available in 3.6. It's available on 3.7, and I'm using a local snapshot of that when I tried. So
If you have it easily accessible, it should be possible to export the project, because I don't think the project format has changed at all.
I think doesn't really matter. You have seen the important part, how to do the transformations, and the actual editing from these weren't that important either. There was just styling. But let's see here. This is the important. Here we're actually adding some real value with the instance off. So let's go ahead and go to upload edits to Wikibase and see if we can get that to work. So it'll ask me for, I'm gonna use this, and then I need my password manager. I thought I was logged in already, but lost it. Come on, password manager. Wake up. Software never feels so slow unless you're actually being looked at the same time.
Agreed. And you never do spelling errors if someone isn't reading the text.
Exactly. Now let's see if it will let me paste this in. Log in. Don't save. No issue was detected. That's nice. So I'll say here, add instance of aerial photo. And edit. And we can see it ticks away here rather quickly. So I'll open a commons here, and I wasn't logged in here either. Very strange. Now I am. All right, and check my contributions. No contributions? But it says 45% complete.
If it does errors, I don't think it tells you currently.
Mm-hmm. Did I go?
Let's wait and see.
Did I go with my butt? I don't think I did. No, it hasn't edited on comments. Where am I editing then?
So it's not necessarily that it did any edits. If the only way I know to check it is to like open the network tab and look at what UberFine did.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have made any edits at least. Let's check at one of the photos here. See if it got anything done. But I guess it did not. Wait, what did I click that? It's a nice photo though. But let's see. Come on, load. There we go. Structured data. Oh, so slow. No instance of. Yeah. But
No, it's the old one.
oh, if it already had one,
That's
did it not?
probably the error. Yeah, that's probably it.
So it doesn't add one if it has one.
I think, I'm not sure if it is in the latest version or if in the former release, but I think there is an option to override it.
Yes. So
Let's
what
have a
I
look. Because
what
it's
I
also for Wikidata, so it should be possible. Configure. Try that.
where
In next to the statement.
uh-huh.
Yeah, add or merge. That's interesting. It should have written it over.
Mm-hmm. Or added one. If I just do add, if there are no matching statements.
No, that's not the one we want. I can't see your menu. Is those the only options you got?
Wait.
We also have a comment in the...
Click on preview to see what it will have done. Yes. So if I close here, we can see the preview that it seems that it should add the instance of.
Yeah.
So these looks all right. You don't see my drop down here now. So when I click here on the add or merge, I see add or merge, add or delete. Those are the three options I have.
Right.
And if I click the add, it changes to that. If I click delete, it changes to that. That's not what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know what happens if...
Yeah.
Especially in pause. Locally, you can usually see it in your
Yes.
console, but I don't know if that's possible in pause.
I'm gonna just check here because if I go and add with reconciled values, if I say P31 here, because I didn't see P31 in the list, I thought no one had it already. And here we can see that a few have, not every one of them. Instance of remove configure. No. Did I now get 2 instance off? Will it be a... I have a second here, yes. Choose new match. Click on media M. Is that in the preview? And schema. The schema is incomplete. What did I do? I have it. There we go. It should have worked, but it didn't. I'll think I'm gonna do a little bit of troubleshooting while you do some things, so we don't get stuck in this.
Right. I'm gonna move my windows around so I can see all comments while I jump into it. I'm on Wikidata because that's usually where I am, but I want to go to Commons. My approach to this is that I changed my plan slightly when Jan made that example of people that uploads a lot of files but do not add a lot of data to it. So I would actually use the query service to look for my files. And I thought like we would do some queries like files with the least statements. There is quite a lot of like automatically added, but things like that. So first of all, I need a Wiki Monuments image on Commons so I can see how I can query for it. And then we will see what turns up. I have some ideas of what would happen. So I'm gonna head over to Commons and go to my uploads. I haven't ever uploaded anything this year, so to Wiki Monuments yet. So it might be, it's probably the easiest way in the menu here. Uploads. So here is a bunch of glam stuff from Wikilove. This might have been a mistake. Let's see. It shouldn't be that far. Wikilove. More Wikilove. Oh, here are some Wikilove monuments. Here is a ruin. Here is a lime climb ruin. Lime clean, I think. That's a nice one. Let's see what the structured data look like. Here is the most prominent thing, the creator, which is just set to some value instead of my Wikidata item. And I think that is, first of all, that's what bots do. And then secondly, because I'm actually saying here in the attribution that it should be my username and not my name. And you can't really, if it's just a queue number, you can't say how I wanted it to be attributed to myself. Surprisingly, it's CC by SA. I usually do CC0, but let's see. We got participant in Wiki Monuments 2019 in Sweden. We see some warning here, but I'm not sure why. That's really odd. That should be completely okay. But okay. So given this, given participant in and the sum value creator thing, we should be able to get all my Wiki Monuments images. So let's hop over to Commons query service. Oh, here it is. Like that. Can we do some example of a Wikimedia user? Maybe we get that free. That's something like it. Oh, that would work. So if we do up 98 here, we'll remove some comments. That would get everything I have uploaded. I saw some Wicklow Monuments example as well. So what if I do this? Can I get the... Here is the subquery for getting any... I would prefer not to do that. Let's just start with 2019 instead and do a simple query here. Oops. Actually, that's not too bad. We can do it that way. And VDT part is the hand in. Then do Wikila Monuments 2019 in Sweden. I think we had an example from there. Wikila Monuments 2019 in Sweden. Like that. That should give me all images. Let's see what we get. 101 pictures. That seems reasonable. I try to get over 100 usually. Then we need, or I would prefer to get like the ones with the least statements, because those are most likely to miss some important information. And I think I got this. We have this Glacier page. And usually here I have a lot of maintenance queries. So I have the least common properties, for example. So imagine I can get something similar. I got glaciers with most statements. I should be able to modify that to be...
Oop, sorry. I stole your...
back. I should be able to modify this. Yes, this is a really good example as well. It's using this special RDF property here, Wikibase statements, which just has the statement count. So it's a really efficient way to do it. Let's see, go do file. Like that, we now have the statement count and do the order by statement count. Oops. I run that. No. Why would this be? That's really interesting.
Is statement count available on Commons?
I think so. I think it's identifier count we're missing. There's a way we can check this. We can copy this link. I copy this link for this one. And then I just add .rdf so I can actually see what data is accessible in the query service. And I can search for Wiki. Can I search? Sorry. We got Wikibase rank here. We got 200. That's a little bit annoying. Statement property. Statements, excuse me. No, we don't have Wikibase statements. Ouch. That's annoying. Guess we're gonna do it a different way then. Then we actually need to select everything and count it, I assume. So let's do that. So file, and then I can do to select like all properties. I could technically do here prop and something else. The problem is that there is like a lot of author things that aren't just Wikidata properties. There are, for example, Wikibase statements on there and a couple of author things. So that's not the way to do it. I should actually have that RDF file I just had up. That would be helpful here. Instead, I can select each Wikibase statement. Let's get ourselves that RDF too. to see what's going on. No. This is the glacier query to begin with. .rdf. So I can't get the count by itself. And this is what I mean if I would query for like everything, I would get here all the various versions. Here is something, but I just want this. But the thing is, these are represented somewhere. If I search for this, I only get one match. If I search for the Q number, I should get more matches. Yes. That's not the one I'm looking for. This is the one. So, that's the target type. That's annoying. I could probably query for all properties, assuming those are indexed. This is tricky. The common service. So let's try that. No, that won't work. They won't be indexed. Okay, we're gonna try to do it this way then. I just say prop here. It should actually work because all author files should have like the same metadata. So for the count, it should work. So I can just select it like that, and then I can count prop as let's do it the way I should do it, as count order by count. And of course we need the aggregate group by. Can I have this after the order by? I think so.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Let's see. No. It makes sense as well that you can't group it after you have ordered it. Yes. So here we got the one with least. Let's just check how this, like it says 25 here. Here, let's see what that actually looks like, because we're counting a little bit too much here, but I am hoping that it works anyway. And then we got one with 41 here. So I'm going to open both of them and we're going to see how many statements we got. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That seems reasonable that that's the least. All of this also seems like bot added. Then here we got another one. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it works. Altering the number isn't very helpful, but it works for sorting. So that's, let me actually share that. It's a neat little trick, maybe. There we go, in case you want to sort statement counts and comments. We learned something today. Gonna close a little bit, but then let's see what we can actually edit on some of these ones with a little bit. This is a nice one. This is a train station not too far from me, and this roof along the railroad, they are getting less and less commons, this old style in Sweden. So this is actually protected and a part of Wikidata monuments. And I think I was waiting for the train or arriving and thought that, hey, this should have an image. But it's one of the most interesting things you can see when it comes to like buildings in Wikidata monuments in Sweden.
Is that in Flen?
Yes.
It's also the most interesting thing in Flen.
No, they have an ice cream factory.
All right. Yes.
Yeah. And the king lives outside of Flen, usually. So yeah, but it's one of the more exciting things in Flen that I can agree with. So I think looking at this, we could see that it has an author one, the one with a lot of things, had this created location, and this can be a rather exact location. The roof isn't in Wikidata, I believe. However, the train station in Flen is in Wikidata, so we could add that as location of creation. So I think that's a good one. So let's see. Add statement. Why is this still at the bottom? Okay. Or is it location? No, it's creation. No. Creation location? Location of creation. Oh, that's really annoying to say. Flen Railway. Is it Flen Station? Yeah, railway station in Sweden. Is it no, location of creation? It's not. I'm not gonna use that. That's nice. We don't have a depict, as I said, it isn't in Wikidata. I'm gonna leave that. We could say it's this type of roof, I imagine, but I'm gonna skip that. Interestingly enough, this roof is also one of the author ones with the least statements. I'm gonna just do the same. Location of creation, and now I know it's Flen Station. There we go. I'm not sure what more we could add to this. If we go to the file information, do I have like automatic information? Yeah, it's still got like, I took this with the Samsung phone, it seems like.
There are
But
bots going around adding
yeah,
those.
exactly. We could see that at an audio image which had much more statements. So I'm gonna leave that. I think bots are much better than me on adding things like that.
Mhm.
It
There's
might
also a
be that.
discussion is if it's really needed to add that statements when they're also, because the EXIF is, I think you can query for it.
Oh, we can query for it now.
Yes, but it's not in the dump, but or
Yeah, then
there's
you
some
can.
place it's not in, but you can query for it.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think you even have autocomplete in the query service. You can look in the.
I want to look at that. I had no clue.
Yes,
Here we have I have asked for categories to being added to. We don't have EXIF in here.
but if you go for what were they called? Look at some of the values you had in the EXIF values, so you know what to search
yeah,
for.
and no, this is one without it
Mm-hmm.
in like the structured data tab, so it should have it somewhere else if it's here. I don't think it is. I think you can only query for it with like the MV API. Could that be it?
That could be it.
Because I think you can query everything in the dumps, but not anything more. But with the MV API, you can still query for it and access it.
If you check the file information on a file,
We can see an example, I imagine. This, no, it just got the regular. So file information.
yes.
And then we go to the bottom.
So you can search for something like f/,
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh. Okay. I try to copy the link again. Where do I want to do this now? Let's do it here. RDF. And then I'm gonna search for the slash. Oops, I got a tab or something in there. No, it isn't in here.
Ah.
I think it must be with the MV API.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So I still think it makes sense to know for Node to add it in the structured data. But maybe we should expose it in like the RDF as well. Okay. Looking ahead here, both of the two first files with the least statements was actually from Flynn, and then there is a jump to the next one, just underlining Jan's note about Flynn. It has also won a competition for the most boring city in Sweden, I believe. Here we got a runestone. That should be easy to add a bunch of statements to. Let's see. I have even written a description here. That's good of me. It has a depicts. Location of creation is just a municipality. You can actually improve this. You can see in the background here, this is a church. So we should be able to say it was at this church. So I'm going to edit this because it's not as good as the one I'm going to add. So we do. And now we want the right one. That's this is the church building. That's a book. Yeah, that's it. And publish. Okay, but this gets a little bit one-sided. Let's see if we can't get some more inspiration. We go to one with the most statements. And I wonder why this got the most statements. It even got the depict. Interesting. Original files by uploader. It goes to... No, it's probably just a combination of depicts and location of creation plus all of the EXIF. Oh, it's actually in Wikidata, this. That's surprising. I did not expect that. To say it's a mill, it's an overstatement, I believe, at this point. But indeed. I see one thing here. This does not have an image. That we can fix. So let's... And here's also an interesting thing. We actually got a much more exact location. So the location here has been tagged as the municipality, because that's the category, so it has automatically been done. But if I look at the item, I can actually see that we got the parish in Wikidata. And usually if you take a photograph of a monument, it's in the same parish you stood as when you photographed it. There are some exceptions. You could technically stand outside of it or take from a really far away. But that should be a little bit of a way to at least semi-automate this, I imagine. Okay, but now let's add an image here. Then we actually got some Wikidata editing as well today. There we go. I don't think I had a second picture of that or something like that. And that shows it pretty well if I remember correctly. And I'm gonna update the location of creation as well. La socken, a parish, and publish changes. Oh, so that's something we should be able to automatically add, maybe with quick statements or something like that. That I would really look forward to do. And I think actually in this like first example we have here as well, I usually sometimes put the parish in the title if I don't have any any author valuable information there? And do we have? No,
And
here we do
for
not even have.
Sweden, the parishes are easy to find because they are in the register, the official register. So
They are in 3 different official register, and they all have different shapes in each of the registers.
yes, but also I mean the monument register has
Yes.
the parish in
But
it.
that yeah, and here comes the interesting part. That's not the same as the geographical ones
That's the old one.
in orchard places. So yeah, theoretically, and in 95% of cases,
Yeah,
but not always.
not always.
Um, let's see. Yeah, I copied the parish here. I actually noticed here that we do not have a location of creation here as well. And it's because I believe that bot only picked up municipalities.
Hmm.
And technically, this is in a municipality, but that municipality is also a region in Sweden. Um, so I think that's the reason this one doesn't have that,
Yes.
because we usually call it a region rather than a municipality. It's because it's an island. There we go. Okay. That got a little bit one-sided. A lot of location of creation is things we can work on here. But we did discover that we might be able to slightly automate it.
Yeah, you can do some sort of
So
query to find things that have values in both, and
yeah. Yeah, exactly. We could combine. We can make a Wikidata
yeah.
combined query that would look for, does it have location,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could look for things on commons that just have the same municipality,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could maybe do some visual inspection to see that someone didn't stand far away. But I think we could make a lot of edits that way,
Mm-hmm.
because for Wikila monuments it's pretty much always in a municipality category, and then I think a bot had added the
Yeah.
location of creation. So yeah, that's now I already like, why don't we continue for 2 hours? But that would be a mess as well while I try to figure things out.
Yes.
Great.
All right. I didn't manage to do my troubleshooting very well, but I did a sort of the big took the big gun and changed to actually using the 3.7. And here we can see in my schema, I do have a field for wiki text, which I didn't have in the pause, which is on 3.6. 3.7 isn't officially released yet, so I'm running a sort of a we call it a snapshot, but it's something that's not released yet. And if I go here and do upload edits to Wikibase, and polish wiki text, I think it will actually do some editing for us, for me. So if I go here to Commons, and check my no, not my uploads. I want to go to contributions. Here we can see it's running away here, and we see the tag opener find 3.7. So I don't know really what happened there with the pause instance. I couldn't figure out, because I was just running here as well on the default settings. So
Yeah, I think it is that this is only in master. And
yes,
pause is still on 3.7.
yes,
The
yes,
actual 3.7, not this
yes. So,
pretending to be there.
so if you're looking at this, don't follow the first section on the Commons Open and Find page where it says use pause. Follow the second one where it says where it explains how you can use it on your local machine with 3.7, and then it should work.
I think we aren't that far away from 3.8 either. and then pass
You
should
mean the
probably...
official 3.7?
Oh, is it official? Yeah,
It
maybe it's
hasn't been
official.
released yet.
3.7 hasn't been released yet.
No, but that should
Okay.
be, I think in October it's planned. So
Yeah,
not
exactly.
too far
I
away.
think early October, like
Yeah.
the first third of October.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So a little bit of trouble, but I think that I'm just gonna have a quick check. Yes, and now it done all the 79 edits there, so it worked eventually.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes, it does. And I guess we're back as usual next week.
Yeah.
We don't have a theme yet, so if you have anything you want us to do, send us your tips or wishes, and we'll take a look at see if we can do something interesting with it.
Yeah.
And until then, happy editing.
Happy editing.